All right, my friends, J.R. Dukes with you. Appreciate everybody joining me. We are going to get right into it because we have an abbreviated edition today that we have to kind of stick on a time schedule. So I'll try. I know it's difficult. I say I'll do one thing and then I take a tangent and we're talking for an hour or two. But tonight's going to have to be an abbreviated edition because I got some things pressing. However, I do have some very interesting developments in the Fani Willis saga. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. This Fani Willis story just seemingly has no end to the twists and turns. I'd be surprised at some point one of these TV producers doesn't pick this case up and run with it because it is literally a made for TV whodunit, some kind of TV saga. And I don't even believe we're scratching the surface of everything there is to uncover in this case. It is so clear that there is clearly corruption, fraud on the court, honest service fraud, perjury. And this is just what I can think of off the top of my head. So this is interesting to say the least. Let me welcome real quick American Nana. I always appreciate you being in the house. You are almost always on my programs here, and I really do appreciate it. Welcome to Danny. Let me know where you guys are from. I've already put that in the comments. You know, I'm always welcome. I always appreciate everybody being here. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Say hello, say hola, say whatever you like, and let us know where you're from. Additionally, if you would like to, I'm going to post this in the comment right now. If you'd like to briefly hop on and say hello, maybe ask a question, have a brief conversation, feel free to do so. I just posted that in the comment. Looks like we're good on Facebook. YouTube, of course, Twitter. I think everybody hears me fine. I don't see anything failing. So that's good news. All right. I hope, I don't know if anybody knows or not, but I got a new background tonight. I figured I'd just change it up a little bit. See, add a little bit of patriotism, a little bit of color right there. So, all right. So here we go. Obviously, it's election night. That's number one. We'd be remiss not to briefly talk about that. It looks like Donald Trump is poised to walk away with the nomination. He may not have exactly the numbers he needs tonight to absolutely say he has the nomination for the Republican side of this equation. However, it's going to be very, very close by the end of tonight, unless there's some surprise that we don't know about. So I haven't seen anything coming. Zach, thanks for showing up. Michael, it's good to have you from Knoxville, Tennessee, and obviously Megan. I'm always glad to see you. I'm trying to make notes. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to get one of them email programs so we could always stay in touch. And if you so inclined, you can go ahead and use that. I'm in the process of working on that. Plus, I want to have a way I can remember everybody's names easier and where everybody is from. I don't generally try to rely on my memory because as I'm getting older, it definitely doesn't work the way I want it to work. At any rate, Megan, thanks for joining us today. I definitely appreciate everybody being here. Okay, let's jump right into it. Take a look at the screen right here. So yesterday, we talked about how there is a mystery witness that wasn't so mysterious, but she came forward through her attorney, and this lady turned out to be a prosecutor, a current prosecutor in a neighboring county in Fulton County, Georgia. Cobb County is, I think it touches Fulton County. As a matter of fact, I know it does. It touches Fulton County at one small section. And the jurisdiction is Cobb County. There's a prosecutor there, and we're going to briefly review exactly what she said so that we can be extremely accurate. She's willing to come forward to the court at this point and say, hey, I watched these proceedings, and essentially as an officer of the court, I can't stand by and just allow this fraud upon the court to go forward without saying, Judge, I have information you need to know before you make this case. Well, guess what? It wasn't just one person that has came forward now. There's two separate witnesses that have came forward. The second witness is an attorney called, I think it's Aurora or Manny is his name, or Manny Aurora. I think I got it backwards. This guy is a popular, famous, whatever the word is we need to use, attorney in the metro Atlanta area. Incidentally, he represented one of the defendants that already pled guilty to a lesser charge to make this thing go away. And we have talked at length of why somebody would plead guilty to a crime that they have not committed. And because I hear people all the time, well, if there's no case to this Trump Rico case, then why are people pleading guilty? And the short version is because they want to control the outcome of this case. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know this, in our system of justice, it's ran by human beings, and as a result, it's not perfect. And what I mean by that is the following: if you are truly guilty, you might be found innocent. If you are actually innocent, there's a chance you could be found guilty. And I would argue there's a good chance you could be found guilty. I am a firm believer there's a lot of people in jail today that are actually innocent. It's not something that I'm just making up. I firmly believe this. I think the Innocence Project has already freed to date something like 60 or 70 people that were on death row at one time. Imagine that. These were people who essentially had all their appeals exhausted. If not, they were at the final end of the appeal process. And via the Innocence Project, or one of the affiliated group, they were able to prove because of DNA technology and different scientific advancements that the individual in question that was convicted, it wasn't that it was the individual was not guilty. They proved his actual innocence, and of course saved the life of a person that was truly innocent. So I want everybody to think about that. It's something sobering. Sergeant, it's good to hear from you again. And you're in Fulton County. Okay. Yeah, we're starting to get some rain down here in Florida too. And hello to Jesse Rodriguez, let's see, what does it say? Who's concerned about this judge contributing a fanless campaign? Jesse, that's a good question. We have been briefly talking about that, and I'll address it quickly since you asked the question, which I appreciate. It is very normal and customary for these attorneys and for these judges to be contributing to one another's campaign. If we get time today, we're going to look at the great Ashley Merchant, whom I love, and I'm always giving her praise and accolades and telling you what a great defense attorney she is, because she's the one that blew up in this whole case. Even she, back in 2016, campaigned and was good personal close friends with Nathan Wade. They have a picture of her pictures with the shirt that says Nathan Wade for judge all the way back in 2016. I think the photo was taken downtown Marietta at the Marietta Square. Don't hold me to that, but the picture exists. So the thing you need to remember is $150 contribution does not really mean anything. It definitely does not mean the judge is compromised. And my opinion is, Jesse, I would not let that bother you, because there's no reason to let that bother you. On the surface, it looks like there's a conflict of interest. It looks like that's a problem, but it's not a problem. These people are all colleagues. I think I have been using the illustration of you show up at work, and there's someone at work that has some kids, or a daughter specifically, and they want to sell Girl Scout cookies. I'm sure many of you have been in that situation, and you're thinking, oh no, not some more cookies. And the reality is we do a lot of things for the kids, right? So when your colleagues want you to buy some Girl Scout cookies, they're not really asking. You just fork over a check and buy an order of Girl Scout cookies, whether or not you like the cookies or not. It really doesn't matter. It's things we do for our friends, for our kids, for our community as a whole. And it's no different with these attorneys, with the judges. They're all colleagues. They all work together. And when it's time to campaign, they need money for their various campaigns, and it's very common to contribute. And I'll add one other quick note that would be food for thought. Imagine if Nathan Wade ran for judge back in 2016, which he did, but imagine if he actually won. Then take it one more step further and imagine that he won. He asked you for a campaign contribution and you did not give him a campaign contribution, or at least you did not help. That's kind of a serious situation, especially if you are a practicing attorney. Now, it's not supposed to have any sway over a judge one way or the other, but listen, we're all human beings. We remember people that help us. We know who's our friends and who's not our friends. We know who would be there in a pickle, so to speak, and who not be. So I'm interested in what y'all think about that. Jesse, does that help you out? Does that shed any more light on that thing? I hope it does. Stella, I appreciate it. Every time I hear the name Stella, I want to scream like that movie, Stella. Give it 1 second. I'm not sure if there's a small internet interference. We're going to give it 1 second and let it clear up. Unfortunately, we're having storms in the area, So it looks like the signal strength, well, it says excellent strength. If y'all are having trouble hearing me, let me know so I can just take a pause and let the signal correct itself. But it looks like we're okay. All right, but anyway, I was saying anytime I hear the name Stella, I want to scream Stella real loud, but I will not do that for the sake of everyone's eardrums. It always amuses me, that movie Stella. I love the name Stella, by the way. So from West Virginia, this story is never ending. When you think nothing else could happen, bam, another person comes along and has another story to tell. This is better than any book I've read. I agree totally. I agree. I've had a few people, not recently, because they see that I'm right about this. They have emailed me or text me or whatever at my phone number, and they're like, listen, I love your program or whatever. I appreciate what you do, but do you think you're a little obsessed on this case? And I'm like, guilty. Guilty. I said a long time ago, this case has legs, tentacles, deep roots. We haven't even scratched the surface of this. This case here can give us all a provable, deep understanding, a very clear real-time picture of corruption and how it works in our government. So I think it's really a great and rare glimpse. So American Nana, always appreciate you. Rosemary Fiera, she is a regular here, and it's always a pleasure to have you in the house. All right, back to Megan. It's so wild. I never thought I'd be so, yeah. Well, it ain't so much that she's the demise; it's just that she's getting placed. And I know what you mean. I don't differ with you. It's just the fact that I would say the way I would say it, and I'm sure you're saying the same thing. And that is, it's great to see people get what they deserve. These people are corrupt. These people have a streak of evil in them. They're trying to interfere with the peaceful existence of our elections and, frankly, by extension, our country. They think they know who we should vote for president. They're trying to take our right to vote for who we want as president of the United States away, and that simply cannot stand. So thank you, Megan, for that. Yes, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Sergeant, yeah, they say it's normal to give within the, yeah, I think so too. That's exactly right. Yeah, Zach, thanks for being here. Yes, even a fraction of a percent of wrongful. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the other day, I don't remember, but whatever it was, we did a live Google search, and I believe it was 1.9 or 2 million people. And that sounds low to me because I think it's closer to 3.3 million. So I'll have to look at the statistic and see exactly what it was counting and not counting. However, Google at that time said there was 1.9 to 2 million people in actual prison. So let's go ahead and do the math on this. When you are convicted, it's supposed to be by not a preponderance of evidence, which is like 51%. Think of a football field. If you get past the 50-yard line, that's a preponderance. This is supposed to be beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, personally, I think for a death sentence, I don't think the government should be in the business of putting anybody to death. I know that's not necessarily a conservative view, but so be it. It's my view. I just am extremely uncomfortable with the government putting people to death. It is not applied equally as far as race. And I hate to talk about race and say this group of people is treated than the other group. It irks me, irritates me. However, it's true. Just look at the statistics. Additionally, the prosecution has a ton of money to go after somebody and convict them. And then the defense, well, you know how that is. Unless you are Donald Trump, you're not going to get a full, complete defense that you would get otherwise. If you have any doubt about that, look back at a Supreme Court decision called Gideon versus the state of Florida. They made a movie about it. And that's the reason we have a right to an attorney today. They made a movie about it. The movie was fantastic. The short version is the first time around, the guy was convicted. Supreme Court said he did not get a lawyer to represent him. He was denied due process as a result. They sent it back to the judge. It was the same judge, the same jury, but this time with a professional attorney, and he was acquitted. So let that be food for thought as far as that goes. But back on my example here, let's just, for simple math, let's say it's 2 million people. Beyond a reasonable doubt, generally most people agree that's 97%. So there's a 3% error rate. I think it's much higher than that. But let's just assume it's 3%. Well, 3% of 2 million, is that 60,000 people? Someone can do the quick math on that. But you get the idea. That's a lot of people. Mathematically, we can prove are innocent in prison right now today. The little town I live in doesn't have 60,000 people here outside of Atlanta. So imagine 60,000 people. That's a lot of people. And they're currently in a cage right now, and they're innocent. Nothing's perfect, like I said, but it's something that we definitely need to think about. We have to have a justice system. We have to have law and order. Please don't misunderstand me about anything that I am saying. It's just the reality of the situation we're in. It's never perfect. Megan, Senate approved full investigation of DA's office, and Kemp signed off. Oh, good. He did sign off. I did not know that, but I knew that they sent the paperwork over there. Thank you. Bill Tay, shocking. Kemp is compromised today. I'm sorry. Kemp is compromised today, then least. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but he did sign the bill. He signed off on the bill. I think I understand what you're saying. It is good news. The Senate, as we talked about the other day, tomorrow, Ashley Merchant has been subpoenaed to go before the Senate in the state of Georgia. It's not the federal Senate, it's the state Senate. And she has been asked to bring documents with her and to give testimony. It should be televised. So, Lord willing, we're all here tomorrow. If the camera is turned on, I am definitely looking for the feed. If I find it, Zoom or otherwise, I will definitely go live and broadcast it. And we will talk about it. At a minimum, we'll talk about it tomorrow evening if I don't find it in the meantime. But it should be a good listen. You're going to have essentially the Republicans, which control the Senate and the House side of things, discussing this case and discussing this corruption and all the little details that they're looking into on this. But thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's see what we got here. And Shirley, Fani has no empathy for. Yeah, I agree totally. Too dangerous for me. Folks, when you get people in these positions and they don't appreciate the position of power that they're in, she's in a position of power. It's a position of what I refer to as public trust. And when you have such hubris that you think everything revolves around you and you just have this sixth sense that tells you, you know what's best for all of us. You know who's bad. You know who's good. When you think it's okay to go to church and commit blasphemy right in front of God, I'm telling you what a shameful, despicable act. It gets me riled up even when I think about it now. I know it's been some time, but what a terrible thing to do. And shame on that church. There was 2 different churches, by the way, that allowed Fani to take over their pulpit there and just spew that garbage, that blaspheming nonsense. It's just extremely, extremely irritating. Thank you, Shirley, for that. And Jesse, obsession is the sign of devotion to fight. Go. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I may be a little obsessed on certain things. It is what it is. As I've gotten older, I can tell you this. I'm always reviewing my behavior. I call it the free mind in so many different areas. Why do I do what I do? Am I doing what I should do the best? Is there some way I can make more of an impact? But at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable in your own skin. I am what I am, and I'm the way the Lord made me, and it's just that simple. Thank you for that. And then, Michael, I'm concerned that the judge contributed to a prosecutor's campaign. It's an issue of perception. Judges are supposed to be impartial and then not to disclose the fact. I get it. I understand. It's just the way the system works. And I don't know if you heard what my conversation was earlier. I think it's a valid point that the perception might not look good, but I can tell you it's very common, very normal. And as for me personally, that really doesn't bother me for all the reasons I've been talking about it. But, reasonable people can disagree with it. And I think your point is valid. No doubt about it. Oh, compromise to say that. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I thought sometimes I go through these spells where I can't read either. So appreciate that. Yeah. Chain gang. I'm sure they would love to do that. Okay, let's dive into the actual news story today. I have to keep it on a short leash today because I just have a lot going on. We have the election coverage and all the other stuff, but I want to drill into this right now. The news of the day, if you will. So here we go. All right, Donald Trump excoriates Fani Willis's office for Jeff DeSantis hire. I put this in here because the fact that he, at least allegedly, is a plant by the Biden administration, now Donald Trump's on the scent. And you're going to start seeing what I call the legacy media start bringing this story to life. I'll really be happy when I see Fox News all over the story. I have to commend Breitbart. They are doing a fantastic job into drilling down in this case. And right here in the middle, Georgia pushes group to sanction prosecutors as Fani Willis faces removal from the Trump case. That's what they're talking about. Additionally, with the subpoena that relates to Ashley Merchant that she has to be there to take care of tomorrow. Also, look at this right here. Nathan Wade had a garage door opener to his and Fani Willis's love nest. The love shack. Never mind. To Fani Willis's love nest. Relationship started in 2019. Court documents state. This is going to get good. This is going to get exciting. So, I mean, it's already exciting. It's already good. Let me switch over and let's just start drilling down on some of these stories that I want to make sure we do not lose sight of. Okay, let's get into this here. Again, I appreciate all the comments and y'all's lively feedback. It really is nice. Okay, here we go. Add to stage. Boom. And let me minimize myself. Okay, here we go. This is from the New York Post. This is a current standing. Fani Willis warned Nathan Wade. Now, we briefly talked. We did talk about this yesterday, but I want to highlight this and then drop the story they dropped today that shows witness number 2. Okay, here we go. Fani Willis warned Nathan Wade's lawyer to stay quiet about affair. The court filing claims. They're coming after us. Boy, that's the understatement of the day, right? They're coming after you, Fani. Well, it's not like you're the victim, Fani. You're the one that's trying to put all these people in a cage for 20 years at a pop. Okay, a new witness could testify. Fani Willis warned lover Nathan Wade's former business partner to stay quiet about their affair and explosive new court filing claims. They're coming after us. You don't need to talk to them about anything about us. Willis is alleged to have warned Terrence Bradley in a September 2023 phone call. Now, I will drill down more on the affidavit later, but here's the bottom line. Here's the witness right here. This lady's name is Cindi Yeager. She is currently a prosecutor. I believe they call him a solicitor in Cobb County, Georgia. What she's saying is the following, folks. I have been watching this testimony live, like we all have been watching it. And as an attorney, it offends her sensitivities. And she knows in her mind, she has a duty to the court to not allow malfeasance to go on, to not allow a fraud on the court to continue. So through her attorney, they made a proffer. It's called a proffer to the judge and said, hey, if you want to open it up and take yet additional testimony, I have to tell you what I heard DA Fani Willis talk with I'm assuming via phone is what the document says, to Terrence Bradley. Now remember, Terrence Bradley is the heavyset black gentleman that was the former law partner of Nathan Wade. Also, he is the individual that Ashley Merchant was talking to via text. And originally he was like, oh, yeah, definitely, girl, you go for it. He told her to go be great. That was Terrence Bradley to Ashley Merchant to encourage her to file the motion that she filed to have DA Fani Willis and her entire office removed off the case. Well, as you know, this last month, just back here in February, he got a case of, I can't remember, you know what? He couldn't remember nothing. And that's where we're at today. So you have this, we'll just call her Yeager, Cindi Lee Yeager has come forward and said, this is a lie, Judge. And I know it's a lie because I heard what I heard. All right. So let's bounce to the next article right here. What do y'all think about that? Isn't that amazing how all these people are coming forward? They are so incensed over this situation. They have to say something about it because it just offends their sensitivities. It's just that bad. So let's pop into the new story right here. Let's see if it works that way. Oh, good. I can just add it right on. Okay, here we go. Nathan Wade. Now this is dated today. Again, this is from the New York Post. It is brought to us by the New York Post, and the reporter is Olivia Land. Published March 5th, 2024. So I just want you to realize that we're talking about a current case right now today. Nathan Wade had garage door opener to his and Fani Willis's love nest. The relationship started in 2019, court docs say. How about that, all right? So here we go again. Now it says a new witness, but I want to be clear. This is new witness number dos. 2 days, 2 new witnesses. I love it. A new witness says she could testify that Fani Willis's relationship with Nathan Wade dates back to 2019 and that he even had a garage door opener for their alleged love nest, according to a new court filing. Willis and Wade definitely had a romantic relationship during the time Willis was running for DA in 2019 and 2020. And remember, as a side note here, remember the ex-friend, ex-best friend, whatever you want to refer to her as, ex-college roommate of DA Fani Willis, this lady by the name of Robin Yeager, who was the first witness to testify in this removal hearing, backs up exactly what this new witness is stating. She said, just to remember this, she said, I saw Nathan Wade, DA Fani Willis holding hands and kissing all the way back in 2019. Very consistent with what everybody else is saying, except for Nathan Wade, Fani Willis, and their new BFF, Terrence Bradley, apparently. All right, moving on. It says Wade's loose-lipped former business partner and one-time attorney, Terrence Bradley, spilled to lawyer Manny Aurora. So I want to make sure you understand the players here, okay, because this can get a little confusing. Manny Aurora, if that name sounds familiar, it should. He is the attorney for one of the defendants that already pled guilty. We mentioned that earlier in the conversation, but I just want to make sure you understand what's going on. And also recall, just like with the campaign contribution, these people all know one another. These people are colleagues. They went to school together, at least law school together in some instances. They go on these trips together and these continuing education meetings that I was mentioning to y'all in recent conversations. They're just colleagues. They're in this same fishbowl in the metro Atlanta area, and they're going to know one another. It's really just that simple. Because you may be thinking, how is it that all these people overhear conversations? Or how do they always seem like they know one another? Well, they do. They do. It's just professional colleagues, and they're all making the connection. All right, moving on. It says Bradley, who clammed up on the stand when asked last week, let slip the confirmation of the affair during several conversations with Aurora, a former law professor between September and October last year, according to court documents filed in Georgia. Wade apparently even had a garage door opener for the apartment where he and Willis would meet for their secret tryst, Bradley told Aurora. Yeah, I tell you what, I still can't get out of my mind the image of, and DA Fani Willis actually looks halfway decent here, but I still can't get out of my mind the difference in his soon-to-be ex-wife and Fani Willis. His soon-to-be ex-wife, Jocelyn Wade, she is just a beautiful woman. At least according to the picture, she's a beautiful woman. I think she's very attractive. All right, Fani Willis is under fire for her alleged affair with Nathan Wade. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. New court documents filed Monday reveal an additional potential witness in the case. And this is a photo of, I'm not sure who it is, but that's not really the best photo I've ever seen. Okay, moving on. The apartment belonged to former DA employee Robin Yeager. Remember the testimony on the stand? According to DA Willis and Robin Yeager, was something to do with the fact that DA Willis at the time, just normal, she wasn't the D at the time, it's just Willis, her friend, was living with her for one reason or another, and they talked about it at length. The apartment belonged to former DA employee Robin Yeager, a longtime friend of Willis, who testified last month that she saw the couple kissing and hugging back in 2019, what we just got done talking about. Willis is fighting to keep hold of her position as district attorney of Fulton County, facing scrutiny over her relationship with Wade, whom she appointed special prosecutor to help in the election interference case against former President Donald Trump and 18 others. Trump and his remaining 14 co-defendants are seeking to have Willis thrown off the case, saying her relationship with Wade created a conflict of interest. Yeah, no doubt. At hearings about their relationship, both Willis and Wade testified under oath that they were not romantic until 2022. Remember that date? November 1st, 2021 was the day he signed, and I mean Nathan Wade by he, signed to become the special prosecutor in the case against Donald Trump, the so-called Rico case. And then Wade files for divorce from his current wife, which of course is Jocelyn Wade, on November 2nd. We went online to the Cobb County records and shown that all these dates line up because the court itself shows it filed the said documents on the 3rd of November of the same year, which is very consistent with the way it should happen. Okay. Let's say, moving on, I don't want to lose my place here. All right. At the hearings about the relationship, both Wilson and Wade testify under oath that they weren't romantic to 2022. We know better than that. We just know better than that. They're saying, and under penalty of perjury, they're saying that they did not have any type of relationship as far as what I call an adult relationship until after he started working for the DA's office as this independent contractor, aka special prosecutor. Again, we all know this is a crock, right? Which lawyers for Trump and his co-defendants, including Michael Roman, who's represented, of course, by Ashley Merchant and her husband, John Merchant, and Kathy Latham. Now, Kathy Latham is the new witness that has now came forward with information pertaining to this case. Have said it is not the case that they were let me back up. I don't want to butcher this up. Okay, so let's start over on this end. Including Michael Roman and Kathy Latham have said it is not the case and that they were together since 2029. Okay, that's what we just said. So now here's a picture. I think this is Manny Aurora. Yeah, Manny Aurora claims Terrence Bradley spilled all to him about Willis and Wade's relationship. So here's a picture of the attorney that was representing his client that pled guilty, took a plea deal, saved his law license. Here's sweet Nathan Wade with, of course, he's the paramour with Fani Willis. We all kind of know the players by now, I'm assuming. Okay, they are coming after us. You don't need to talk to them about anything about us. Willis allegedly warned Bradley in a September 2023 phone call. Court documents filed yesterday on behalf of defendants David Schafer alleged. Remember, we dived deep into that yesterday. Okay, Bradley appeared last week in court where he claimed he couldn't remember the basic details of the relationship between Willis and Wade or when it started. Willis's phone conversation with Bradley was supposedly overheard by prosecutor Cindi Yeager. Remember, this is the one in Cobb County, who, according to court papers filed Monday, became concerned when Bradley's testimony last week contradicted what he previously told her. Bradley even claimed during the court hearings that 1 month is what they mean by month old, 1 month old comments to attorney Ashley Merchant were just speculation. Remember, we went over that in detail. He uses words like absolutely. This is exactly what happened. But now he's trying to make us all believe that it was just speculation. I was just guessing as to what happened, which of course is a bunch of nonsense. The judge knows it. You know it. We know it. Everybody knows it. All right. Willis's office also dismissed Bradley as an unreliable narrator who had every motive to lie after he left Wade's law firm under a cloud of suspicion about an alleged sexual assault. So please recall that the Mr. Bradley, Terrence Bradley, was partners with Nathan Wade in their firm, and the allegations are that Terrence Bradley liked the ladies. Unfortunately, he liked the ladies that worked for them, and you know that's going to cause a problem. And to carry it further, the most unfortunate thing is one of the ladies alleged that it was an assault. I'm assuming a sexual assault of some type. So apparently that was taken care of between the law firm and Nathan Wade and Terrence Bradley. However, I would be the same way. I really don't fault Nathan Wade for this. If you got somebody like that in your organization, that's not a partner you want around. You need to get rid of him. You need to let him go. I mean, What do you think? If I'm an attorney, I have my own law firm, and I have a guy that cannot separate business and pleasure, and he thinks that that type of behavior is appropriate in our office where we're trying to make money. I would not be partners with them either. I'm sure you probably have heard the expression that you don't blank where you eat. Well, that's exactly what that means. All right. Okay. So moving on, the hearings over Willis and Wade's relationship wrapped up on March 1st, but counsel for Latham is requesting the court subpoena Aurora in the event they are open that they open up for more evidence, for remove evidence is what they call open up for. I think they're trying to say more evidence. It's a typo. Okay. Finally, until then, none of the newly related information is admissible in court. Meanwhile, Judge Scott McAfee has said he hopes to rule within the next 2 weeks on whether Willis can stay on the case. Aurora did not immediately respond to the post request for comment. Now, the reason I think the judge has taken 2 weeks on this is I believe the judge knows that there's more here. Remember, we've been talking about, let me see if I got it right here. I think it's boom right there. There we go. I like the way that's easy to switch. I like that. All right, look at this. Delta Airlines hands over flight records for Fani Willis's romantic getaway. We touched on this yesterday. The judge obviously has been putting the screw to a few places that are reluctant to turn over records. And that's probably one of the main reasons he is taking 2 weeks to decide on this particular case, because he's still waiting on evidence to come in. Now, why would they want to know from Delta Airlines information or evidence pertaining to the tickets? Well, you know the reason why. He wants to know if they truly went off together. They said they did not, at least on some of the trips, that they were together or that they were romantically together. So the judge wants to see the physical evidence. And most importantly, they're trying to show that there was no financial gain. That's a main reason that Fani Willis and her office can be kicked off. You cannot have a situation where you're being prosecuted for Rico, facing 20 years per count in the pen, hard time, and yet the individual, the entity that is prosecuting you is making money off of you. That would be terrible, wouldn't it? Well, that's what's going on here. And of course, as Fani said on the stand, hey, I paid cash. I reimbursed Mr. Wade in cash for anything and everything he apparently bought on my behalf. It may look like on paper that he bought it for me, and he did buy it for me. But, Judge, I got to tell you, I paid cash. I want you to know I paid back roughly everything in cash. And I don't have receipts to show coming from the bank. I don't have receipts to show going into the bank for the cash. I don't even have a receipt from Wade showing that I reimbursed him. But you got to remember, Judge, I'm black. And black people, we keep a lot of money in our house. I also got to say, Judge, don't worry about the fact that I had a $4,100 tax lien on my house, which means I couldn't pay the taxes on my own house. But I just didn't want to use all that cash I normally keep in my house so I can avoid being kicked out of my own house because I didn't have the money to pay the tax. Isn't that insane? That's just absolutely crazy. But that's what they want us all to believe. At least that's what Fani Willis and Nathan Wade want us to believe. I don't believe it. I'm sure you don't believe it either. So we got the Delta Airlines situation that they're waiting on. Additionally, coming from Newsweek magazine online, photos reveal Fani Willis's court nemesis campaign for Nathan Wade. I wanted to touch briefly on this because we've been talking about conflicts. Look, it's very normal. It's very typical that you can have somebody working for you or on your case. It really is not it's not really a big deal. So let's see if they got the photo right here. Here it is right here. This is what I've been talking about. This is Ashley Merchant. You can see the shirt on from Wade running for, what does it say, May 21st? I think that's 2016. Yeah, May 21st, 2016. You see a front and a back shot. That's attorney Ashley Merchant, the one that started all this ball rolling. So I only show this to point out it's not nothing you should be concerned about as far as the campaign contribution on this one particular deal. So any questions on that, put it in the comments so I can address them real quickly here, because I wanted to show you this next video. Look here. This is our favorite president, Donald Trump, and he's got a few things that are rather hilarious concerning DA Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. And let me see if I have anything I can answer real quickly. Let's see. Yeah, we got this. Okay, we got that. Let me screw down. All right. Thank you, American Nana. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate y'all for your comments. It's always one thing about the comments, they generally always lead to a good discussion about something. Sapphire, thanks for being in the house. As far as I've read, the judge donated to Fani before he became a judge. That's very likely. That's very likely. And of course, we got Mr. Miss Files in the house. Thank you. Trump donated to Hillary. Yeah. Yeah. You got to remember Donald Trump back in the day, he's just a businessman. I've been in this situation myself, folks, on a much smaller level, of course, where you're running your business in your community. I've actually had council members approach me for a contribution, or can I put a sign on your property? I mean, what do you say to that when they say, "Hey, can I put a sign on your property?" That's really a tough situation to be in when you think about it, but that's exactly what happened. It was a councilman wanted to put a sign on my property because I had a lot of frontage right there on a main road. And I was thinking, do I want to get involved in this as far as politics go? Because I was thinking, well, I just want to kind of stay in the back and just kind of remain quiet and just be a quiet giant, if nothing else in my own mind. Well, I went ahead and said, sure, put the sign on there, no problem. And I thought, well, this is a good thing. Well, unfortunately, this guy lost. He did not win the election. I was thinking, oh no, that's real. I mean, but folks, sometimes in life, you're just presented with something that's just a bad deal. Either way you go. So the way I looked at it, I could tell him no, and then he's not happy. I could have told the individual yes, which I did. And I thought, well, there's two outcomes. He's going to lose, which is what happened, and I just have to deal with it if it comes up, or he could win, and then I would win. So you just kind of have to do a cost benefit analysis when it comes to just about anything or everything. So let's jump into. Let's go see, Dana. You voted for Trump today. Good job. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I know that they're going to have a lot of state. I think the last state tonight is California, and I'd imagine they probably close 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time as far as the polls. But it's going to be an interesting election season. Tomorrow, I'd like to talk about how the liberals, man, they have lost their minds. I've been making a little compilation of all the individuals that are going to have to show up for psychiatric treatment because they are going ballistic over this ruling from the Supreme Court 9-0. I think the fact that it was 9-0 was just enough where they need medication. You know what I'm saying? If it would have been like I don't know, maybe a 6-3 or even a 5-4. They get a lot of 5-4 sometimes. I think it may have been a little more palatable. But the fact that they had to actually have a 9-0 and speak with one voice, I don't know. I think I saw a few of those reporters when they went into actual convulsions today. I don't know. But it didn't look pretty, if you know what I'm saying. So, okay, here we go. Let's take a peek at this, and we'll jump back into it in just 1 second. I want to see what my buddy Trump has to say. Here we go. This guy's terrible. Yeah. Former President Donald Trump mocked Georgia prosecutor Nathan Wade. Nathan Wade and family have been. Let me turn the sound down to this here. It just goes into little points about. Let me show you this other video here. See what they got here. Here we go. Oh, yeah, it's a big suck of the money. It's so obvious. It's just painful. I love that comment. He's made that comment at a few of his other speeches. We'll listen to that more at another time because it's a really good speech. It's funny. That's what I like about it. But he's used that Al Capone comparison many times that a former president of the United States, Donald Trump, has been indicted more times than Al Capone, if you can imagine that. Let's go to this Twitter feed. Let me know what you think about this. Let's listen in on this for a second. This is Donald Trump. It's recorded or at least brought to us by Benny Johnson. If you haven't checked out his channel, you should go over and check his channel. I think he's a conservative commentator. I'm not sure, but I have watched his channel a couple times. Here we go. Jack Smith, a special prosecutor. Oh, does it not have any sound? Y'all have to tell me that if you can't hear the sound coming through there. I want to make sure you can have sound. My bad. He's basically just talking about he's just making comments back on the actual events that have been transpiring and all the corruption involved. I'll move on if you can't hear on that particular feed. Thanks for telling me that, Matt. Yeah, y'all don't sit there and just watch me drink tea. I want to listen to this stuff with y'all as we go through this. This is a real short video where they're talking about just a kind of summary overpiece on this right here. So let's listen on this briefly. Yeah, look at that. In court, he says, I can't recall nothing. That's what he's trying to say. And out of the court, we have three people that can say definitively they were told that he can verify certain facts. So far, Ashley Merchant, now Cindi Yeager, and Manny Aurora. I would add a fourth person to that, and that, of course, is Robin Yearty, the ex-best friend. Y'all remember that? The Okay, man, I'm not sure if it's just your end or other people too can't hear that. It looks like it should be coming through, but it doesn't matter anyways. Here's what I got to do for tonight. I told you all I have to cut it short tonight. It's been already just about 50 minutes. So what I'm going to do is we'll pick this back up tomorrow. I will definitely double check the sound and make sure everything is functioning at that time. I apologize. We are having storms outside, so I don't know if that is having anything to do with it. But man, I apologize if you couldn't hear. As that's not good if you can't hear. But thanks for telling me that, by the way. So, folks, I think this is extremely interesting. This is just the gift that keeps on giving. I love it, and I'm going to bring every piece of it to you I can because I'm like you guys. I'm just riveted by this case, and frankly, all these Trump cases, the Jack Smith case, the records case that he's handling, the actual case involving the January 6th nonsense. We have Judge Engeron up there in New York. We're going to take a deep dive into that. And of course, he's going to be going to trial very quickly on that so-called hush money case out of New York City. The first one by, what was that, Bragg, that he was being hammered for. But we'll get that. And thanks for your comment, everybody. I appreciate it. And as I always say, keep that mind free. Never give up. And until next time, my friends, I am J.R. Dukes.